Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. Today we are transforming this ordinary looking manila envelope into, as you can see, this. Let me show you. It's a journal purse or a handbag journal, and of course the main feature is the fact that it has a handle, and I'm envisioning this to be something that you take with you on your daily life when you go to do errands, and I'll show you why. You can customize this in any way you want, but here I've got a section for receipts. Then here I have some sections for gift cards, credit cards, whatever, loyalty cards, that kind of thing. Then there is a section here, it's pretty much a whole journal, which I'm envisioning in using like to-do lists and dailies and ideas and projects and all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that during the video. Over here, of course, another pocket, and I have some sticky notes in there. Then at the back, there is a section here for grocery lists, plenty of space. And then, like I said, you can customize this in any way. These are my pretend business cards right in there. Really easy and beautiful transformation of an envelope into a journal purse. All right, let's get started. Okay, here's what I'm starting with, just a large envelope. I was going to go with white, but I changed my mind and decided to use the manila envelope. So first thing I want to do is fold it in half, but I'm not going all the way to the edge, leaving a bit of space there, maybe about that much space. But I'm thinking, because I'm making this into a journal, I want to reinforce and make it a little bit sturdy and make it pretty. But it doesn't have to be, so all of this you can skip if you want and just use the envelope. But what I'm going to do is cover the flap and also the back with pretty scrapbook paper. Okay, so what I've got here is a piece that's covering the flap and going all the way down, nearly all the way down to the fold. And on the sides I left a little bit of a margin that's gonna keep this nice and pliable here. So now what I'm going to do is glue this down right on top of that. So what I'll do is I'll apply glue onto the envelope directly. And now I'm gonna pop this right on top, all the way to the edge of the flap. Perfect, and now I can cut off the excess here. And now I'm going to fold this while the glue is still wet so that things can kind of move around a little bit. I can see that it's already hard to fold it, so let's just go about it gently. All right, that's good. And I'm not even going to score it or fold it down completely, because this will be, you know, closing over the whole thing, and I need this to have a little bit of space there, so I'm just leaving it as it is. And now you can see when you fold it how the paper moves, and there's a little bit of the envelope kind of hanging out, even though I did put the paper all the way to the edge. But anyway, when you fold it, that's what happens. We can trim that off or not, it doesn't bother me for the time being. But I'm just going to remove the glue. And now what I want to do, since I have reinforced this, I also want to reinforce this. So all I'm going to do is grab another piece of scrapbook paper and pretty much do the same thing, just cut a piece down and glue it down. And here we go, that's gonna be perfect. So I'm going to look how cool this side is. I feel bad, that's gonna be covered now. I'm going to apply the glue onto this whole piece and then glue it down, because there's no bits sticking out like there was here. So if anybody asks, this is Kaiser Craft paper, scrapbook paper, and I don't even think that Kaiser Craft, I don't even know if they're still doing this kind of thing, or they move on to socks and soaps and that kind of stuff. So I'm really making sure there's glue going all the way to the edges. Okay, I'm bringing this all the way to the edge because it will move, and smooth it all down. So you can see that I've overlapped over the fold. So now let's put that fold back in. There it is. Again, I'm going to use my ruler. Perfect. That's what I have so far, and that's what it's looking like at the back. We just covered that envelope. Now at this point, my plan is to make this into a journal. So at this point, I would make my signature. But now, of course, I'm thinking about doing something like this, like a little storage type of a thing. I did a tutorial on these. This is using junk mail envelopes, but you can use, you know, ooh, it's so much fun. So that's pretty cool, like a little clutch. I'll leave a tutorial for this down below. I think that would be really cool, really awesome with this project. Even if you just use paper bags rather than envelopes. So I'm kind of at a dilemma now. What do I want to do? I was really excited about making a journal, so maybe I should stick to that. Or maybe now I'm thinking, since it's going to have a handle and be like a clutch or a handbag journal or a purse, now I'm thinking that yes, we can do a journal, but we can also have sections here for credit cards and whatnot. And then of course I can open this, just cut a little sliver. You can even see there's a little bit of a sliver there. And that can be a space for receipts, things like that. And then over here also storage area, so there'll be storage here, and then a journal here. I'm envisioning like an on-the-go journal rather than Dear Diary type journal for this project. Okay, let's just get cracking with the next step. All right, I put these bits into compost, and I saved these bits to make like all sorts of stuff, little notebooks, and I might even include this in this journal. It can be a grocery list, you know, little thing. All right, so we'll pop that aside for now. This goes into the compost. And I have prepared my signature. I have 10 folded pages here, so that gives me 40 sides. And look how large, like there's a lot of space there, so a lot of that will last quite a while, and it fits beautifully and snugly in here. Look at that, perfection. And then this goes over the top. So this journal definitely won't be able to grow, so it's not like a typical junk journal where you're going to be gluing all sorts of pieces of ephemera and stuff down. That's how I'm looking at this, because then you need a spine in the flap here, because otherwise it's just not gonna keep it shut. Well, it just might, you know. Anyway, disregard, it would still probably work. All right, so we have this. Now I was going to say I'm going to bind it now, but I'm not going to bind it, because first I want to think about what kind of a closing mechanism I want to have here. So I can have a wraparound thing, which is not going to work because I will have a handle here. So actually, you know what? Let's do the handle first. Okay, so for my handle, I'm going to use this thread. Doesn't matter what thread you use. This is a crochet thread, and I'm going to double it up, and I'll leave myself plenty. I don't need to be stingy with this. So with attaching the handle, of course, you could poke the holes in the flap there and then bring it through, and then you'll have knots here, of course, from your handle. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different. So the handle is going to be something like this. I'm going to put my beading needle through, or you know, if you don't have a beading needle, just use a needle, whatever, you know. We're just going to be threading some beads. And now this side I'm going to secure here. Might make a little marking. All right, here's how I'm going to attach the handle. First, I'm going to go in with double-sided tape. I'm using an offcut here. It's going to look something like this on the back. Maybe I can round some corners, maybe even ink some edges. This is how it's going. Oh, how does that look? The back is going to be looking good too. Maybe I'll round all the edges, corners. All right, we're ready. We're going to pop that aside. Now, at this point, I'm going to peel this off and get my thread and glue it down. Great. I might even, because why not, grab another piece of double-sided tape. Or it didn't have to be double-sided, I could use any tape. And just really, we're just wanting to make sure that that is secure and it's not going to go anywhere. All right, so really press that down. Great. Now I'm going to apply glue onto this piece all over. And glue that down. Oh, it's very windy outside. Oh, we had a severe weather warning today. And if you can hear noisy wind, it's because there's noisy wind. That's nice and glued down. So now while this is drying, I'm going to go into my bead boxes and I'm going to try and select beads that go with the overall kind of look. You know, look at that. You can see that goes really well already. So I'm gonna go do that and I'll be right back. And look at my fancy bead design board. I found this at an op shop. Anyway, I mean, it's quite large. It's not something that I would go out of my way to buy because I don't make necklaces and things like that. But this is pretty cool. It helps keep all the beads in place in the correct order. So now I'm just going to transport the beads from my beading board onto the string here. I find a lot of cool things at my resource rescue center, also at op shops, Facebook marketplace, and also this Saturday I'm going to craft de-stash market type of thing. And I always find people de-stash, you know what it's like. As a crafter, you just accumulate like crazy and then you feel like you want to sell your stuff so that you can buy more stuff, right? Okay, here's the beading done. And I think that looks pretty cool. Perfect length too. I was worried that it's going to be like too short, too long, wasn't sure. So now I'm going to take off my beading needle. This is another thing that I found at a resource rescue center. If you don't have a beading needle, you should get one because they are just the best thing ever. Okay, so double-sided tape goes down. All right, now the string goes down. Oh. What did I do? It's not symmetrical. I can't believe I did this. It doesn't matter. I know it's no big deal, but I wanted them to be exactly the same, but they're not, you know, on both sides. I was too busy bragging about this bloody thing. Okay, that's fixed. I just made a drama over nothing. It really wasn't that much of a big deal. Okay, another piece of double-sided tape. And now we glue this down. Okay, that's the back. I might come back. I'm thinking of adding perhaps some little studs here. I will come back to that later because I just want to show you the front. I think it looks pretty cool. Now, when we're thinking about the closure, that's why I wanted to do the handle first. If you wanted to do a wraparound closure, the handle is in the way. So you would kind of have to close it with your string and then bring it through the handle. I want something simple and easy that I can just kind of go open, done. Now you know what I'm going to do. Well, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a string closure. And I think I'm going to use these brads. And these brads I found at the craft fair the last time that I went to the de-stash craft fair. And you can see that they're old because these things are supposed to be clear, but they're yellow. There's all sorts of noises going on outside. Okay, so I think the way this works is I'm supposed to glue this down onto something first, and then I'm supposed to cut it out. And then that gets glued on here, but I don't know if I like that, to be honest. It's not looking all that great. Maybe I can just use a bling piece. So what I'll do, I'll attach it first without anything, and I can always go back to it later and add something. So first I'm going to see where it's going to go. poke a hole, the bread goes in, close the little feet. And now of course I have all this sticky stuff here, so I'm gonna have to cover that with something. I'm just gonna use what I have left over here, and it's kind of annoying because the beads are in the way, but I'll make it work. So first I'll apply glue on the flap and then glue this on top. I'm gonna go to the edge of my desk because the beads are in the way. All right, so that's glued on, and now I'll turn it around and I'll just, just cut all of that excess off. Okay, that's looking great. And a bit of reinforcement on the inside as well. Excellent. So I have one here, and I'm going to have one. Should I have it here or should I have it here? Okay, so now before I poke that hole, I don't want to go through. I could, but I want that to be a pocket. So I'm now going to cut this sliver off so that I can open this up. This will be like a receipt holder type of thing. Perfect. Okay, so that's open, and now I can poke the hole, but I'm only going through this. I'm not going to go through this. Now somehow close those little feet in there. All right, excellent. That's looking mighty fine. I quite like that. Now to decide what will be a nice string to use. I don't like this twine. How about gold? That looks okay. Let's go with gold. Tying a knot right under and another knot. Now I'm gonna go up here again, tie a knot and another knot and bring it back down, and again I'm gonna tie a knot. I just like to be quadruple sure, and trim this. And now it's just a matter of deciding how many times I want to string. Maybe that's enough, just a couple of times, because I don't want to be going, oh, 1, 2, 3, I just want to keep it nice and simple, done, open. I wonder if I want to add something here, maybe a little something. So I'll give myself a little bit of extra. Maybe I'll just add a couple of little beads. So first I'm going to tie a knot so the beads don't kind of go up and get in the way. Excellent. And just now tie a knot. I'm going to bring it all the way up to the beads. And maybe one more. Lovely. And chop. Now I'm going to go through my little bling box that I have over here and search for a bling piece that's worthy of this project. I would love something gold, but see, that looks quite nice if you can see it there. This is cool, but too big. It's gonna have to be this, but they're kind of all over the place. I think I'm gonna have to do my own gluing here. Add a bit of glue and the bling goes on. Looks so much better than the other piece I had. For the second one, oh yes. We're nearly finished really. Now we can go and finish the inside. So we have two pockets, one here and of course this one here. And I said I wanted to do like the card thing, so I'll do that and then I'll bind the journal. So first I created a panel and now I'm going to create pockets. So I'm thinking if it's going to be for like cards and gift cards and stuff like that, how many pockets can I fit? I can do 3. I'll do 3 large pockets, and then they can also go in like this too and fit more in. Okay, this is how it's gonna look. Now, do I want to glue them down or do I want to sew them on? I'm gonna sew them on. But first, okay, now that the edges are inked, I'm ready to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew each pocket on the 3 edges right there, and I'll be right back. Okay, perfect. That's looking great. Now I'm going to turn this around, and I like to bring all of the strings to the back. Just like this. I'll do it with all of them, but I'm gonna turn the camera off because it's boring. So the reason why I like to do this is just to make sure that nothing kind of unravels. You don't really have to be so pedantic with this kind of thing, but I also like to tie a knot. Even though I did double stitch, I like to tie a knot here at the back, and I do that for all of them. It's a little bit time consuming, but I like to be on the safe side. So when this is being used, this here doesn't, you know, unravel or whatnot. All right, I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, this is all nice and neat looking at the back. Not that it really matters, because next thing I'm going to do is glue this right down. All right, next thing I'm going to do is bind my signature into the book. I'm going to use a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and I'll just go through both the signatures and the envelope all at the same time. I need 3 holes, 1 in the middle, 1 down the bottom, and 1 up the top. Just eyeballing those placements, and I like to leave this in here for now. Get my needle and thread ready, in through the middle. Now I'm going to remove this. It's been doing its job wonderfully, keeping everything in place. Now I'm going to go through the top hole, then through the bottom hole, and back in through the middle hole. Let's see if it will go through first go. Oh, look at that. Knot number 1, knot number 2, and knot number 3. I'm going to do the S technique. I've shown you this before, but just in case if you haven't seen it, it goes through the string, and then this one goes through, under that string, so you're making like the S, and then this goes through here, and then this one goes through here, and then you tie a knot. So what happens then is you don't get a very bulky knot here, but rather you have the knots, instead of being knotted on top of each other, they're knotted next to each other. So let me just show you again. This thread goes under this thread goes under this middle thread, and you're creating an S, and then this one goes through here, this one goes through its little loop, and now you'll see what I'm talking about. When you tighten, see how that knots next to the knot rather than on top of the knot. And then I do this, so you don't get a real bulky kind of thing happening there in the middle. Chop and chop. And now we're just going to work this in a little bit, turn some pages, work it in a bit on this side, just so it doesn't flop open to the middle every time you open your book. Excellent. Okay, let's see how this closure is behaving, because I just want to see if I have space to do something with these offcuts, make like a little grocery list type of a thing, or not. Maybe I could like add it to the back, could do another section here, another large pocket here for that. Should I do that? I'm really kind of loving that idea now. Why not just give it a go? Here's what I'm thinking. To glue the 3 sides down, then I have a pocket up there. Yep, let's do that. Probably would have looked better if it was a bit narrower, but it is what it is now. And before I continue, while I'm waiting for this to dry, I want to add like studs or something there. But it has to be something flat, so I can't do studs. If I did studs here, they will get in the way of writing in the you know, the thing. So I'm just going to do these flat little stickers that I have. First I'll see if it's going to look good. I'll just go with it. I'm quite happy with this. They look like little bolts or something, hardware. All right, and now let's make this real simple and make a little notepad, shall we? These are all of my offcuts. I have these big ones, they're perfect, but then I have these single sheet ones. And I'm thinking of just making one. I could make two, I don't know. Let's just do one. I might need to make some space in here before it's all glued right down. Yes, a little bit of space achieved. Testing, testing. Just sewn right across the top there. And now I'm going to trim the bottom. All right, let's see. Perfect. You know, we can go into oblivion at this stage with decorating this back pocket. Do I want to go there? I don't know, maybe I do. If I can find the right image. Or I could orient it this way, because that's kind of like the correct orientation. And then have another pocket here, just like a handbag. Maybe I could have one of these there. Ooh. But then when it's turned this way. Okay, or maybe I can... All right, I'll decide and then I'll come back. All right, here's what I decided. I am going to create a pocket here, just like so. And then I'm using the bottom offcuts from that paper. And then I'm going to glue it, something like this. It certainly looked better in my mind. I'm not 100% happy with this, if I'm being honest. Anyway, it's a pocket, obviously. So I'm thinking once I put something in the pocket, it might take away from this very obvious lines. All right, let's pretend they're business cards. Very important business dealings. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there for now. I've got my very important business cards here. I have my grocery list little notepad here at the back, because I'm thinking if you are going to take something like this out and about, you kind of don't want to be opening this to get the grocery list out. Anyway, that was the thought process for putting it at the back. And also, there's only so much that can fit in here before it starts impeding on the closure mechanism. So I want that to stay kind of, you know, nice and snug, but not too snug. So that's perfect. All right, let's see what we have. I put some stuff in there just to see how I'm envisioning on using this. So first off, we have a pocket here for perhaps some receipts. And then over here, I have some pretend cards. I found this random thing, basic life support flow chart. Why not? This is actually, I use this for applying paint, but you know, you get the idea. Then we have our journal here, which I would use for like to-do lists and random musings, ideas, all that sort of thing. You can put little tabs, little sections for, let's say, to do. And then here's a little thing I made years ago. I have a tutorial on this, and I have sections to do, and then I have projects, and then I have miscellaneous, and then I have drainers and annoyances. Usually this is things that drain my energy, like around the house, and that annoy me, like that pot plant over there that needs to be cleaned, that kind of thing, so I can jot it down. And then I have a wish list at the back here. So this can also be separated in such a way, which is why here at the back in this pocket I've added, what are they, sticky notes. I don't know, just something that crossed my mind. But we do have that section there as well. Now this here, of course, I can go ahead and cover that with, I have this left over. I can do, you know, we can do all sorts of stuff there, but I'm just gonna leave it as it is for now. And then of course, at the back, we have grocery lists or whatever, you know. You can make this to suit your needs, of course. And then very important business cards, or again, whatever you think you would prefer to go in that little pocket there. So I am in love with how this turned out. I loved every step of it, and really love all the things that I did apart from these two bits here, which it is what it is. I mean, I can always do something else there, add a bit of ribbon or something. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I think it's pretty cool that we can make something this beautiful out of something so not particularly ugly, but ordinary looking, everyday, large manila envelope. And Voila! Now I'm going to show you where I got this idea from, and also give you, if you don't have a large manila envelope, you can do this with a standard envelope. So this was sent to me by one of my lovely subscribers. And this in here, this is just a single envelope. And then there's a little booklet that's inside. Perfect. I absolutely loved the idea of this. And this is also where I kind of thought this wraparound closure is a little bit, it works, but it's not overly convenient when you have to kind of go through the handle. But when I saw this, I thought this is just so beautiful, and I knew that I wanted to recreate it in some way, and so I did. And here's my little version. So you can do this, you can do this, you can use a smaller envelope, you can use, a pre-made book, a pre-purchased book. You don't have to make your own. It's the same idea done in 2 different ways. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video and the process, and I hope you feel inspired to make something beautiful today. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!